Tomorrow, this art may not be for you.
This has a real rawness to it.
But your tax dollars are paying for it.
Those fringes and edges are what feed the center. They're the things that we have to support.
Creative funding tomorrow on Newswatch.
It's inside this building here in Ottawa. The Canada Council decides which artists will get government funding. Later on the show, meet 3 recipients and their very unusual projects.
My parents would have named me Stephen. I can't really picture being male, so I decided to invent you.
That's a clip from a film by Monique Moumblow of Montreal, a film that you helped pay for. Moumblow is one of the 4,000 and some artists who got Canada Council grants this year. Tonight, Jill Oviatt looks at some of the projects that the Canada Council is spending our money on.
So I think that it would probably be better if I called you a lover. But you have to understand that because you don't exist, I'm not in love with you at all.
A lot of my performances have been working with an alternate persona.
Well, this particular story is about the sexual history of a character from masturbation on, and that's about it.
A flitter forward, a flit, a flat, 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 flat out, spread thin. And I'm starting to think more about how words sound, too, and what words mean, and what they can mean if I pull them apart and put them back together.
The Canada Council just awarded government grants to these 3 artists. Each year, the Council gives out about $84 million in grants to art projects across the country. And while most of the money goes towards funding mainstream projects, $3 million a year goes to funding projects like these. Some people would call them experimental, others controversial. The Canada Council calls it funding the fringe.
Smash the windows, take the clothes. Smash the windows, take the clothes.
Victoria Stanton is a performance poet. The Canada Council just gave her $10,000 to create a live show on life's hurdles.
Childhood, high school jobs, university, art, activism, politics. I might be forgetting something there, but in a general way, it's how these areas have shaped who I am.
One way she explores those concepts is through sound poetry.
Bat, ding, rack-a-tat, tat-a-mat, rack-a-tat, tat-a-flit, tat-a-flat, tatta the telephone rings, data. It might seem a bit abstract to be playing with sounds of words, but what happens when you repeat one word over and over again? Well, sometimes it becomes very abstract and without meaning, and sometimes something else comes. I think revelations come to people at the strangest of times and in the strangest of ways. Pong, ping, hang, palu, palu, pala, pila, p-meal, p-meal. It definitely won't appeal to everybody, but it's important also that a society has free thinkers and people who are not just going along with what they see, but critiquing what it is that is going on. Otherwise, you'll have a populace that's, well, zombie-like.
She screams to be smashed. Smash the windows.
I think she's hoping to transform the way we see things, the way we understand society, the way we understand ourselves. And that in itself, the transformative act can be and is often an art act.
Yasmin Karim works for the Canada Council. She says she's not surprised the Council's jury funded this project.
They're looking for innovation. They're looking for new uses of a medium. So in other words, they're looking for things that would be pushing the edges of the art practice.
Monique Moumblow is another Montrealer pushing the edges of art. The Canada Council gave her $13,000. This is her 6th grant. Now she's making a film about the everyday gestures people make.
I videotaped myself falling asleep, and what I wanted to catch was that moment when you lose consciousness.
Moumblow is now editing that film. This film convinced the jury to give her money. It's about her alternate personalities.
Today I decided that I think maybe you're blind. You're blind, but not completely blind. You can see colors.
I guess a lot of that came about because of my interest in exploring identity and how our identity is constructed.
How is that art?
How is it art? That's a really... I don't know that I would argue with someone who said this isn't art. I mean, that's their opinion if they don't think it's art. Like, it's very easy to give money to scientific research or something that has, like, what people can see as a quantifiable result, and I guess culture doesn't work that way.
I'm not really sure who you are.
Just think as you're watching it, she's looking at you, she's talking to someone else, she's talking to herself. There are a lot of layers to the project, so it's one of the projects that a jury would support.
You have kind of ugly calves. And you have big, fat, round toes.
When you got news that you were getting this grant, what was your reaction?
I was surprised because it's an odd project.
Rick Trembles' project is a comic book. It's called How I Got So Anal. Trembles read us an excerpt.
The first time I stuck my fingers slightly up my ass was in my snug parents' suburban home, late 70s.
Canada Council gave Trembles $12,000. He's going to turn this story of his sexual experiences and fantasies into an animated film. We can't show most of his work. It's too explicit. A lot of people would look at this and think this was maybe, pornographic.
It's way too personal to be generic pornography, and it's not very glossy looking, This has a real rawness to it. I don't know. It's just out there. It's been flung out there. I'm not going to make any excuses for it.
Well, that's pretty slurpy.
Now, what is your reaction to this?
Well, it's every imaginable orifice in every imaginable way. People may yell and scream and shout and really respond and react, but I think it raises really fundamental issues of what is a valid act, what is not a valid act, what kinds of human behavior are okay and what are not, and so it opens the door for a lot of very generative discussion.
Little spasmodic twitches sucking my digit inwards.
Hello, stupid.
I don't see this as being any worse or better than many other things that public money go to. Public money can go into things that I don't agree with, that we don't agree with, yet it's still worthy of receiving funding.
And though I know it's not the ideal solution, but if we're talking about a revolution, at least it's a start.
So what do you think? Are these valid projects for Canada Council funding? We'd like to have your opinions on this. Leave us a message on our voicemail at 597-5626 or fax us at Newswatch 597-6354. Yes, our area code is still 514. The email address still newswatch@montreal.cbc.ca. Winter, when it arrives in the afternoon like this, it really feels like winter. It snows overnight in October, okay, but winter afternoons in November?
That's it. It's so...
Is that clear?
Well, yeah. Well, I get it.
That's how I feel about it.
I get it.
Well, if you understand, we'll get a Canada Council grant.
It's all in a day's work on the new Red Green Show. Fridays at 7:30 on CBC.
Admittedly, perhaps extreme examples of artworks paid for by tax money from the Canada Council. Quite a few people reacted to that report, and here are some of the comments we got.
Most definitely fund these artists and other experimental aspects of art, because that's what art's all about, experimentation and learning.
The art shown was drivel, but conceit about art and the statement by the lady at the end that anything is art and you don't have to agree with what it's being funded, I disagree. It's my tax money, and I do disagree strongly.
Your report smacks of the far right's attempt to ridicule the funding of the arts. You can't show us a few seconds of performance and expect us to grade it better than a panel of specialists did. If anything, I'm glad the Canada Council is not just giving grants to the mainstream.
If these artists could
find a market for their product, great for them. And if they can't, well, I don't believe it's the government who should be putting out tax dollars to support them.
They may be abstract, they may be different to what we usually see, but it's diversity, and diversity is the spice of life.
And goodness knows we got diverse weather in this city, spicy life, right, Patty Kim?
That's right, Dennis. Great day today, but we're back to the white stuff for tomorrow and even the days ahead.